Good morning, everybody. This is Jessica from Prissy Pants Art. I've had a lot of people ask me how I mix my paints for my Dutch pours since my last tutorial on my Dutch pour sunflower. So I thought I would show you how I do it, show you all the things we need to make the mix, and try and make it a little bit more simple for you so you get good results every single time. Now I have American Floetrol that I use. I also use water and my paints. Most of the time I'm using Amsterdam Acrylics or Liquitex basic acrylic paint. I also use Artist Loft, and sometimes I use Folk Art Metallics. There's all different kinds. Different paints have different thicknesses and densities. So you might have to adjust just a little bit, whether making it a little bit thinner or a little bit thicker. So it's all the same consistency. That's the key. So right here I have my stirring stick. Excuse me. I have some Dixie cups because my scale only weighs to 80 grams total each time. I have to do it in smaller increments. I have my bottle that I'm going to be putting my mixture in to make it easy for me when I Dutch pour. So let's go ahead and get started, and you can see for yourself how I do this. I'm going to turn my scale on, move some of these things out of the way so you can see exactly what I am doing. So the first thing I do is I'm going to put my cup on the scale after I've turned it on, and I need to tare it so it reads 0. And I'm going to do this every single time when I'm measuring either my water, my Floetrol, or my paint, if I have to. So let's get started. I'm going to take my American Floetrol and I'm going to slowly pour it into my cup. Now I only want to get up to about 40 grams right this second, because I'm going to do it again and add 40 more. So this one reads 41, so I'm going to make sure I adjust when I pour into my next cup. It's just going to be 39, because 41 and 39 equals 80 grams. So we're going to start by pouring this Floetrol into my bottle. And I always make sure I scrape the sides and scrape the bottom, because I don't want to leave anything in there. Otherwise, the weight's going to be different. Okay, so now we've got 41 grams in there. Put the cup back on, tare it again, back at 0. So now I'm going to pour in 39 more grams of American Floetrol. Do it slowly so I don't over pour. One more little drip. There we go. Now we're at 39. I'm going to pour it into my cup. Scrape the sides, scrape the bottom with my stick. Pour it into my bottle. So now I have 80 grams total of American Floetrol in my bottle. So now we're going to move on to the next thing. Make sure we tare the digital scale so it reads 0 again. And we're going to move on to a paint. So right here I have Liquitex Basics Deep Violet. Such a pretty color. I love this color. My husband does too, by the way. And honestly, what better color is there than purple? So now I'm going to pour in 40 grams of paint. We're almost there. Now some paint you're going to end up using by volume less because it weighs more. Some you're going to be surprised because they weigh less and you're going to use more paint. So now we have 40 grams of paint, if you can see that, in my cup. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scrape the inside of the cup and dump that into my bottle as well. I have to be careful because I'm kind of messy. Into the bottle you go. Scrape the sides of the cup a little bit more. Make sure we get it all. Into the bottle. Here we go. So last, all we need to do now is we need to add the water. Let's tear the scale again. And now we're going to do 30 grams of water. Slowly, slowly, slowly. That's a little too much. Sometimes that happens. Just gonna pour a little bit out. Put it back on the scale. Perfect, 30 grams. So now I'm going to dump that into my bottle. So in case I lost you there, we have 80 grams of American Floetrol. We have 40 grams of acrylic paint. And then we have 30 grams of water. I put my cap on. Move my scale, and I just shake it up. Now I know you guys are asking me, or asking yourselves right now, excuse me, won't that create a lot of bubbles if I shake it up in the bottle? Yes, it will. So you probably want to let this sit overnight until you're ready to use it, and you won't have a problem with the bubbles. And there you have it. We have deep violet mixed paint with Floetrol and water. And that's how I make my mixture for Dutch pours. Let's go ahead and do one more. I'll show you the Amsterdam paint. Okay. Turn the scale on. Put the cup down. Now you're probably gonna laugh at me because I messed up on the last one I was doing, and I've already got 40 grams of Floetrol in here, so we're just gonna add 40 more, so I have 80 grams total. So here we go. Slowly pouring so we don't overdo it because it happens really quick. Here we go. That's about right. Go ahead and put my Floetrol in the bottle. So I have 80 grams total. Now, I'm sure some of you use Australian Floetrol, and that is completely different than American Floetrol. It's way thinner, and it is definitely not the same. So when I'm making these mixtures, it's with American Floetrol only. Okay, so now we have 80 grams of American Floetrol in our bottle. I'm going to go ahead, put the cup down, tear. Now we're going to put some Amsterdam. I have primary magenta, one of my favorite colors. And we're going to weigh this till it weighs 40 grams. A little bit more. There we go. Now if it goes a teeny bit over, that's okay. No big deal. You just don't want to have too many grams over. If it's 0.5 or whatever, it should work just fine. Nobody's perfect, right? But you do want to be careful that you don't overdo it with any one of these things, because then your consistencies are going to be different and you're going to throw the whole thing off, and maybe you won't get as much magic in your Dutch pour like you usually do if everything weighed the same, if it was all the same consistency. Okay, now we have our Amsterdam paint in our bottle, and last but not least, now we just need to add the water. So cup on the scale again, tear it so it reads 0, and 30 grams of water. Oop. Once again, a little bit over, dump a teeny bit out. There we go, 30 grams of water. Into the bottle it goes. Primary magenta is such a pretty color. All right, move the scale, put the top on. Always remember the cap, it's very important. And then we're gonna shake. And there we have it. Primary magenta all mixed up. Deep violet, so pretty. These colors together are awesome. That's how I mix my Dutch pour paints. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'm happy to help. Have a great day.